people out there. I'm going to do something I really don't want to do, you know. But I've had people at WNCW and Clemson, University of South Carolina, all kind of people want me to tell stories on textile mills. Well, we're going to tell you why I don't like to do that. Frog carried it with me today. Can you see the camera frog? I use him for an aiming board. Anyway, what you hear about textile mills is from a liberal point of view, and they try to put them down like everybody worked in one wasn't nothing but a blame slave. That's far from the truth. Far from it. And some of them jobs in them plants and seeds, it ain't even funny. I had one time, for 6 months, all I had to do was stay awake. I didn't do a thing. I got so bored I got to cleaning the walls. And even got down to painting the walls, I was bored. But with that said, they were very dangerous, especially certain segments. The card room was one of them. I worked there 25 years. And this is the way it was. First couple of weeks I worked there, I was cleaning. That's where you started off in a cotton mill. You started off cleaning. If you'd stay, they'd put you up to a machine, and if you was a big enough idiot, they'd make a supervisor out of you. But my first 2 weeks there, I was carrying some waste out to the waste house. It's a warehouse where they keep cotton scraps. I guess is the best way to put that. They bale it and set it. I walked out there, and there laid a boy on the floor, about 18-year-old, with a 500-pound bale of cotton laid on top of him. His pelvis was busted. He's laying there in urine, blood, and some kind of green-looking body fluid. I don't even know what was. I run got help. Me and another fella rolled that bale off of him, and we got ambulance there, and they took him to the hospital. Last time I seen that young man, he went on disability, 18-year-old. Almost died that day. And he admitted he deliberately pulled that bale of cotton down on himself, trying to get out of work. Well, he got out of it all right. Well, moving along here. One day I heard awful screaming and commotion. There's a lady that run a lap winder for the cotton combers. She had her hand down in rollers up at the bar. The fixer and a bunch of people standing there, what are we going to do? How are we going to get her out of this thing? Well, I run that thing a long time myself, and the cotton comber. I just went on the back, took the back cover off, set it aside. I grabbed the pulley and I backed the rollers up and backed her hand out of it. Fortunately, she wasn't hurt too bad. that was luck. They don't tell how long she'd been in there if I didn't know how to get her out of it. Just fortunate. Same lady, about a month later, got her finger down in her drawing frame roller. We got her out of it, and it was crushed up pretty bad. We got, this is the funny thing about this, and I know that ain't funny, getting finger crushed. But we could not find our supervisor to take her to the emergency room. We hunted and we hunted and we hunted. They hunted 30 minutes. Well, I told them, you can't find that rascal in the next 5 minutes. I'm going to take her to the emergency room. You can't do that. Yeah, I can. You hide and watch me. Well, they found him. Yeah, here I see them coming with him. You know where they found that son of a gun? Our supervisor is up on the road in an oak tree. There's a hollered out oak tree there, and he was seeing a screech owl go in it. He was reaching his hand up in there trying to pull that screech owl out of that oak tree. I fussed at him. I said, at least tell somebody where you're going. I don't care, you know. You can go home and sleep. I don't care. Just tell somebody where you're at. We might need you. Well, it gets a lot worse. A lot worse. One night, a young man come flying by me. All I seen was bones back of his head. 2 men following him running toward the parking lot. They downed him. Caught up with him. Got him to the hospital. This idiot. Of course, he's new. He hadn't worked there about a week. They had him cleaning cards. Those things were bad to get chokes in the side of them. You had to clean them out. Usually the card had a job. You had to cut the machine off, pull the plate off, and they had a hook that you run in there and pull it out. But he'd seen the card hand do that. He thought but he didn't know how. Well, those things, you cut them off, they'll run 15 minutes. It's great big, they acted like, just like a flywheel. They just kept turning and turning. Well, he cut the power off, pulled that plate off. He rammed his hand in that thing. Card hand was a little old 5'5" guy. He seen that and it scared him so bad he grabbed a pulley on that card and stopped it. Nobody's ever figured out how he done that. But again, there was another career ended. Yeah. There's the night Joe lost his arm. They brought a new machine in from Germany. It was called a high-speed opening machine. This job was to take bales of cotton and tear them up. You know, that's a strange way of doing things. You go in the field, you pick cotton, then you clean the seeds out of it, then they pack it up in a bale so they can haul it across country or in another country or whatever. Then this opening machine opens it back up and fluffs it back up like it come out of the cotton field. Yeah. Well, this blame thing, bad, it was just choked up. Well, this feller stopped the machine off, had the power off. They're supposed to have locks put in those things. They didn't give him a lock. He just cut the power off. He's in that. Just thank God it's his left arm. He ran his hands down in that thing, pulling out that choke. Here comes our idiot's supervisor on the 3rd shift. What's this machine been cut off? He grabbed the fire back on that blame thing. There went Joe's arm up to here. Well, I come to work that morning. My supervisor on the 1st shift said, Wayne, I done become sort of a or supervisor in case, you know, they had to go to the hospital or something, another plant or something. You take care of things. And he told me what happened. I didn't even know it happened. He said, I got to go out there and clean that mess out of that machine. The people in Germany that made it are coming. And we got to have that thing cleaned up. I said, you ought to leave it like it is. See what kind of a blame thing they made. I think he agreed with me, but... And then there was the night our card hand and the picker room guy got in a fight. About 3 days, the picker room guy was sending out light lamps to the card hand. For you that don't know anything about cotton mills, the lamp is, they rolled the cotton at her to come out of this opening machine and wound it up in a lap. It looked kind of like a bill you'd use to in making quilts. Looks just like that. And it goes, sits behind the card, and it runs through the card and straightens the fibers out. That's his job. Well, anyway, he got to sending these laps out there that didn't have enough cotton in them. Naturally, the card wouldn't run right. Well, this card hand got so blame angry, he pulled out his pocket knife. He ran out there to that picker. He ran up to that man and said, I'm cutting you. I'm tired of it. I'm fed up with it. I'm cutting you up. Well, that picker hand, he wasn't known for being a nice guy. He's 6'6", had an arm, you know. He's just as calm as a cucumber. He's been through that in the beer joints way too many times, I reckon. He just calmly pulled out his knife, reached his arm over that guy's back. That fella come running by me, and all I seen, it looked like he'd thrown on a meat hook. Big old fold of meat. God, that was all. A couple of guys behind him running down. Well, they fired them both. They hired the picker hand back in a month. They proved it, and they know there's enough witnesses to prove he done it in self-defense. So they hired him back, gave him his job back. I'll tell you, this is going to be the longest than I ever done. Then, it's some other strange things that happened, you know, I seen it. We used to have a lady that worked in the office, in the laboratory. It's her job. Once every day she had to go to a set of machines, and she'd write down why the machine stopped, how many times it stopped. I guess there's a few out there that seen a roping frame, but for you and that, and it's kind of looked like a big egg beater. It had 32 egg beaters in the front and 32 in the back. You know, this is what it looked like. It was about that long. That big round. Called flyers. Well, she was on the job below mine, job number 1. I heard her scream. I went running over there. She was standing there in nothing but her bra and panties. There's her dress getting that roping frame just flap, 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 flap. The man on that job run up to her. He just pulled his shirt off and wrapped it around her. She took off to the office. They called somebody to come bring her some clothes. I've seen several things like that. One lady, I seen her get her hair in a spinning frame, and it just jerked it out. They're bald headed. We had another fella, we called him Blondie. Blondie, that son of a gun, he had hair down here. They warned him and warned him and warned him. Even threatened to fire him if he didn't cut that hair. It's dangerous, you know. Ah, I love my hair. Well, he was running drawing frames and he got his hair hung in a lift roller, and I went by him and I seen him with drawing frames picking him up off the floor. Bam, 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 and finally it jerked that hair out. He fell down on the floor, blood flying. I just walked up to him. I said, Blondie, now you know why they want to cut your hair. People all the time do this. They had certain dress codes like that. Woman wasn't really supposed to be wearing that dress, but she got by with it because she was in the office. You couldn't wear a tie or anything loose. And then the day I had in checker, she was standing on my job, and I seen the guy. We had these air conditioning tunnels. This plant I worked in was very modern, and they done it to keep the machines running. But they had the best air conditioning system you ever saw. Air come down, and then they had these big old tunnels that recirculated the air under the mill. And then the weave room was in the side of the plant. Well, I seen the guy that cleans them out go down in it. And that's what scared me so bad. We were standing there, all of a sudden, boom! That 8-inch concrete floor lifted at least a half an inch. Boom! I could see the fire going down them tunnels. There stood that girl just a screaming. What in the world? I said, fire! She went running one way and I went running toward where I seen that guy go in and down in them tunnels. And thank God he just playing some filters out at the end of that thing. He wasn't in the fire. We had a lot of fires too. Boy, that's another story. That place burned all the time. Smoke. We had a bomb threat one time, and I know who done it. The young man that called it in. He was mad because they fired his mother in the weave room. But I didn't tell on him. My boss come by and asked me if they had everybody leave the plant. Me and him. He said, Wayne, I'm on the truck. You know enough about this place to know what to look for. So I said, what we looking for? He said, a bomb. I said, go ahead. Oh, yeah. We going to look for a bomb. He said, yes. We never found one. Thank goodness. Then this night I actually did have a bomb. You would not believe the stupid things they could do. We had these 18 roving frames in a row. Well, they moved them to 9 and 2 rows. And on each end it added some spinning frames that had automatic doffers on them. They was trying these automatic doffer things out. Well, the idiots put a little conduit across from this machine over to this machine, and there's a little alley between them. And that conduit had 440 volts of electricity in it. Well, every blame fool that come down that alley had to grab them things and swing on them like a monkey bar. One day a dang guy come down through there and grabbed that thing, swing his foot. He was a heavy feller and put all his weight on it. That conduit ruptured. He fell to the darn floor. And I heard the awfulest boom in my life. It was like a bomb. Blam! And I just say that conduit went right across in front of me, just melted, disappeared. Bam! sparks flying, set my machine on fire. I was almost, I nearly peed in my pants. That was it. It's funny, haters all over. Yep, I seen a lot of things. I was in the weave room. Got promoted up to the weave room. They sent me down to Foster for a month. Run a job down there. I went in the office for something. There's a lady. Got her finger broke in the loom. Reed hit her finger and broke it. See the bone sticking out. Her idiot supervisor telling her to go back to work. She wasn't hurt. Get your blamed ass back out there and go to work. I said, lady, come here. And I looked at her finger. I said, you better take her to the hospital. Hey, nothing wrong. Get back to work. I said, fella, I'm going to take her. If you won't, I'm gone. I said, come on, ma'am. He said, you can't do that. I said, I can. Oh, then I did have enough authority. I sure enough could. He took her. And he come back and apologized. He said, that people down there in the hospital told me how bad that thing was hurt. I said, any fool could have, if you'd have looked, you could have seen it yourself. Oh, Lordy. It's just things like that, folks. I have a hard time of thinking about that blame cotton mill. That's I want to tell one more good one before I cut this thing off. I think it hasn't been on here about 22 minutes. One day, there's an awful lot of cheating going on in that cotton mill. I'm just going ahead and tell it to you. The plant where I worked was known as the best whorehouse in Pickens County. Another reason I don't like to talk about that cotton mill. We had an overseer and a supervisor in that card room that actually had a girl talked into it. They set her up in a motel over in next to Furman University. She had her room over there. They was pimping for her. They was actually doing this. Junket went on there in them textile mills, I'll tell you. Anyhow, her husband got wind of it. And I knew him real well. I made music with him a good bit. I guess it's alright. He's Calvin. Calvin come in there with a sawed-off double barrel shotgun, 12 gauge. I mean, it was sawed off short illegally, you know. He come in there with that shotgun and everybody run. I said, going everywhere. I just walked up to him. Calvin, what's your problem? You look mad. He said, I am mad. Where's that supervisor of yours? I'm going to kill him. Him and your wife, huh? He said, yeah, you know about it? I said, yes, I know all about it. I don't blame you if you kill him. But I tell you what, I just think about everybody else in there, you know. I said, look, Calvin, he went into the, well, I told a lie, you know. I told him he went into the laboratory and locked himself up because he seen you coming. I said, there ain't no way you can get him out of there. He said, well, what can I do? I said, Calvin, go out there in the parking lot and wait for him. He's got to come out when he gets shift over or something. He said, that's a good idea, Wayne. He went out in the parking lot. Well, my supervisor was actually in the canteen in the break room. I went out there and told him what was coming down. He just went over to the payphone and called the sheriff. They come and picked him up. Yeah, I got shot at one. I was going out in the parking lot to my car after the shift was over. Bam! 22 bullet come hit the car beside me, knocked the glass out of it, and I hit the ground. I hear tires squealing. Lordy. That feller took a shot at his wife, and thank goodness he missed her and me too. So I got a lot more, but it'd take a dead blame hour, folks. All this wasn't funny, but kind of funny now, I guess. And that's why I don't talk about cotton mills a lot. It's dangerous.